Yeah, hello everybody, welcome. My name's Monty and y'all are watching Montmontgames and welcome to the Friday show. Welcome to the Friday show. You wanna see my Friday fit? This the Mickey Mouse shirt. I promise I'm not a Disney adult, but I do really like the shirt. It's very comfy. Look at this big cardigan, these big pants. Anyway, that's my fit. Friday shows. We are gonna be beginning with HyperFixations. HyperFixations. What are HyperFixations, Monty? HyperFixations are just what my brain latched onto this week, right? It can be anything and everything, right? I try to keep it non-gaming related because I talk about gaming quite a bit. I actually do I stream five days a week talking about gaming, but you know, sometimes it gets in there. So today is going to be that example. Welcome everybody to HyperFixations. Welcome. Episode 2. This week's episode has a lot to do with the AOT finale. No spoilers. I promise y'all. I promise you. No, don't leave. There's no spoilers. The Marauders from Harry Potter and the Lee-ification of Atlanta. These things have been on my mind, and I want to talk about it. Also, I'll update y'all on where the fanfic is for Final Fantasy VIII. There was a little bit of a vote that we had during my playthrough of that on what is the best FF8 ship, and a certain ship won, and I'm writing a fanfiction about it. That's the story, and I'll update you on where that is now. Not now, later. All right, so let's start off with the Lee-ification of Atlanta. Okay, so this has been going on for a few weeks now, right? So this is kind of old news, and this was actually on my thing last week, but last week I was on my break, but I still want to talk about it, okay? Because I live in Atlanta, and I think this is cool. I think it was so cool to see all of this go down, because a lot of big conversations are happening about the Atlanta food scene, and I don't need to rehash it personally, but I think that the main point is Keith Lee is a food critic, a food reviewer who is on a food tour across America, trying different foods, trying different restaurants, and then he came to Atlanta and he discovered that we're a little lacking on the service industry side. And at some point, Doja Cat came in and talked about it. Like everyone and their mother in Atlanta was talking about it, because Atlanta is. I think we have pretty good food, in my opinion, but there are certain services that just are lacking, right? For example, Keith went to this place called Milk and Honey. What he does is he sends in his mom and his wife, who are lesser known than he is. And so they went in, they tried to get a table, tried to order out, and it was just difficult. But then Keith walked up, and they were like, "Oh, wait, yes, you can eat." And he's like, "You can't treat me differently from anyone else," which is super respectable. And I think that's one of the biggest draws to this story for me, is how respectable that is. But he did end up trying it, and a lot of people are sharing their stories and their experiences with the Milk and Honeys, sharing something similar, how it's such an exclusive place that you can barely sit down and eat there, you know what I mean? No reservations, none of that. And that happened in quite a few places. That happened in Milk and Honey, that happened in, I think it was called Toast, and I think another place that it happened was, oh god, it happened at another restaurant, which I cannot think about, but anyway, it happened in quite a few places. And then Atlanta Breakfast Club, I remember there was a video where he was surprised that they were charging $1 for butter, which is crazy at a breakfast place. $1 for butter, excuse me. So I just thought that was really interesting, and it brought out a lot of really, really interesting conversations with a lot of Atlanta people, and I thought that was fascinating. And it brought on conversations about what it means to be a restaurant, what are ways that Atlanta could improve. I think some of the ones that I thought were really interesting were about how it became this way, right? How the club scene of Atlanta influenced the restaurant scene of Atlanta. I thought that was super duper fascinating. You can find a cornucopia of these videos, so I recommend it. Look into it. It's quite the rabbit hole. Okay. Next, Now, this is the gaming related thing that I wanted to talk about. So, FF7 Ever Crisis has collaborated with Final Fantasy 9, and that is crazy. And I think, I don't know, dude. Could this be like a seed for things to come? I know everybody and their mother's like, holding their breath for a Final Fantasy 9 remake. Now, I don't know if they're going to do that quite yet. I think that they're probably going to want to finish with their current series of remakes, you know what I mean? I'm sure they want to finish out the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. It's a trilogy, if I remember correctly. So the next one is going to come out in February, and the one after that, maybe 2025, 2026. It's going to be later. So it's going to be a long time before we get a Final Fantasy IX remake, in my opinion. But I think this is a seed for things to come. I do. I think this is a seed for things to come. I think that this is like them kind of, throwing us a bone and being like, "Hey, remember this game? Hey, remember those those PS1 days? Hey." And I think it's cool. Personally, I think they look really cool too. These three, oh god, what are they called? What are they called? They're the black mages, but they're the evil ones. They have a name, but I forget. But like, they look so cool. Look at them. Look at them. They look sick. So if they ever remake this game, this is what they're gonna like kind of look like. I'm so amazed. I remember fighting this guy. Which one is the... Okay. This is the one that you fight in the cave. I think this is the one that you fight in Dolly. And I think this is the one that you fight in the airship. I think. I also think that they're on the Tantalus. I feel like this is the Tantalus. Or, that's the name of the crew. The name of the ship that they were on. I think that's a Tantalus' ship. And also, look. So they have new outfits as well. I haven't been playing Ever Crisis, but I've just been like keeping tabs on it, like on the side. But look, my boy Cloud is in Zidane's fit, dude. Look at this. Look at his fit. Look at his fit. Next, this is Zidane from 9. So cool. And then I thought this was so funny. They put Tifa in Amaranth's fit. Because they're both monks. I think it's funny. That they didn't put her in a dagger fit. I think it's so fitting that they put her in Amaranth. That's so good. So good, dude. A little red in her hair. The tattoos are there. She has the claws that he has. It's so good. Such a good idea. I love it. Okay. So, like I said, there's no spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil anything for y'all. All I'll say is, it's done. Dude, it's done. We finished it. We got to the end. And I know my For You page and like everything that I've, like my Tumblr, my Twitter has been flooded with Attack on Titan. And you know what? As someone who was an anime-only watcher, I can now be part of the fandom. And it's nice, dude. I think I've been a part of the fandom, but like I've always been really guarded when I'm here, right? I'm always really guarded whenever I'm in the Attack on Titan fandom because it's so easy to run into a spoiler from the manga crowd, you know what I mean? It's so easy. Honestly, I was spoiled for the last for part of the ending, and I was so angry. I remember when it happened too. I remember it happened, I think, in 2020, whenever the last few chapters of the manga came out, and people were like reacting to it, and I was like doing my best to like scroll away each time. But there's this one guy who I followed who just spoiled it. Didn't put a spoiler warning, just spoiled it. I unfollowed and I reported that man, dude. I was so mad. I was like, come on, bro. And I like commented. I was like, fuck you. I was so angry. But it was good. It was a good... I thought it was a really fantastic ending. I thought it was thematically very smart. I get why some people weren't on board with it, but I still really enjoyed it. I still really liked the ending of it. I thought it was a really nice bow on top. But But I won't say anything else. Going back to the fandom part of it, though, I'm happy to be part of the fandom now. I'm happy to like actually like, I don't know, be able to scroll through a tag without worrying about the spoilers of this. I like the fact that I can find a good fan fiction, kick my feet up, drink my hot cocoa on a rainy day like it is today in Atlanta, and just enjoy myself. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. So I'm excited. I'm happy that we've gotten to this point. But anyway, here's my contribution to the fandom. Please accept this as my token of gratitude for all we've done, all you've done. Okay, so here's my hottest man tier list for Attack on Titan. Okay, so we finished the series. Here it is. Number 1 is this Connie. Now, let me tell y'all, I never put Connie very high on my list ever, right? Ever. Even when I was like watching Attack on Titan, like for the first time. But this season, dude, I don't know. There's something about good old Constance this season that just kind of like did it for me. I don't know. So, but he is pretty low on my list still, because Connie is also the name of my grandmother. Sorry about it. Next is Reina. Number 9 is Reina. Reina, I don't know. He doesn't really do it for me, but there's something really nice about his strength that I really admire, and I really like that. But this man has demons that I just don't have the energy to deal with. Next is Porco. Oh, come on, dude. Remember when everyone was thirsting over this like scene? Oh my god, dude. Also voiced by Sasaki's voice actor, Kellen Goff. Come on, dude. I watched the sub, but I had to go back and watch the dub for this part. Come on. So good. This man is so hot. Next is Moblet. Moblet was also pretty, like, I think I really enjoyed how much he like cared for Hanji in like different ways. Like he was kind of like a silent force throughout all of their like wackiness, right? And I thought it was like really, I don't know, there's something really attractive about that. Next is Colt. Okay. You know what? Okay. Colt, there was something really nice about his sweet relationship with his brother. I thought that it was nice how much he like, I don't know, like Isayama showing how much he like cares about Falco. There's just something, you know, like that feeling when you like see a man with a child and he's like he's good and he's caring, and you're like, ooh, I'm getting all warm here. Why? That's how I felt with Colt, okay? Next is Niccolo. Come on. A man who can cook, dude. And I don't know. There's just something. I think in another life, he and Sasha could be really happy with each other. And I think I could have seen something really beautiful blossom there. And then if I, like, in my brain, take Sasha and, like, put me in there, it's beautiful. It's quite beautiful. Okay, next is Armin Halatadas. Oh, my God. Smart man. This is a man in STEM, dude. This man is in Johns Hopkins. This man, he's building one of those like bridges in engineering class where they like test the like, I don't know, tensile strength with like buckets of sand, and he's succeeding at that. That's what Armin's doing, and it's hot and it's great, and he's so hot this season. And all I'm saying is the first few frames of that ending are my new background. I'm kidding, but not. But yes, no, no. Okay, we're moving on. Come on, it's obvious why he has to be on this list, dude. Number 1, because we're around the same height, but number 2, because, come on, he's handsome, he's dark, he's brooding, he's everything I want. He's everything I want and more. I think him and I also share a lot of like similarities. Like he and I would not turn. That's a spoiler. I would be drinking tea with him. I would be drinking tea with him as opposed to anything else. And I think that's a wonderful little connection him and I have. I could also imagine a very quiet night with Levi. You know what I mean? Like, both sides of the couch, both of us reading or doing something on our own thing. You know what I mean? So, there. Next, John Kirstein! John! Now this is a boyfriend, dude. Or this is a husband. Let's be honest, this is a husband. This is husband material. This is the man that you want to like raise a family with. You know what I mean? It's like season 4, John. Like, like I can. John does give me straight man in musical theater energy, but as a gay man who was in musical theater, I would have had a crush on him. And then lastly, of course, I was not a Jaegerist, sad to say, but there were many scenes in the finale that I enjoyed. There were many scenes in the final season that I enjoyed. And once everything was revealed, just the attraction flowed from me. All right, so that's my list. Thank you to Attack on Titan and all it's done for us. All right, so let's talk about Marauders. So I've said this before. I said this in the last episode of HyperFixations. I was not like huge into the Harry Potter fandom. Like, it was just not something that I was like deeply interested in. But I have existed within like the Tumblr space for a long time, and it's impossible not to have at least heard of these guys, right? It's impossible not to at least have heard of these guys, to be like, because we're kind of like neighbors in a way, you know what I mean? And this year, I explained how I like got like sucked into the whole Drarry thing. Now I'm like hearing whispers of the Marauders. Hearing whispers, and I feel them clinging onto my ankles and dragging me into the darkness. That's what I feel with these guys. Because there is a whole fucking underbelly for this fandom, for the Marauders fandom. There's a whole underbelly. There's economy, commerce, arts and culture. There's a working government body underneath the city. And it's led by Ben Barnes, Andrew Garfield, this other guy, Andrew, I think is his name as well, and Dane DeHaan. It's led by them. There's fan casts. Andrew Garfield has had to be like, I am not the wolf. Like, there is like shit that has gone down, and there's like literal like novels. There's one that I think that if I ever start reading, I'm in it. I'm in the fandom. And it's this one. It's this really famous fan fiction. All the young dudes that I looked at how long it was. This bad boy's like long, dude. This bad boy's like, oh, and it like follows canon. It's Wolfstar, so it's like Sirius and Lupin, and like, oh my goodness, this thing is like long. And I know that if I start reading it, I will be in it. And I'm resisting as much as I can, but I am but a man, dude. I'm like Atlas, holding the world on my shoulders. But my knees are buckling. Oh, my knees are buckling. Anyway, maybe next week we'll see if I have succumbed to the Marauders. Next, the Drarry brain rot continues. So yes, last week I was on break, and I read a lot of Drarry. This week, I was not on break, and I still read a lot of Drarry, because it is slowly becoming something I really enjoy. I like the dynamic, and I could refer you to last week's episode or 2 weeks ago's episode where I talk about how I got into it and like why I like it. But I'm just gonna give y'all what I read. Okay, so here's what I read that I really liked. Okay, Stop and Stare by Sarah's Girl. Really sweet, really sweet. It's basically like, I'm gonna give like a synopsis for these. Basically, this is like many years after the war. I think Draco has started let me start with Harry. Harry has started like his own company, but he's like overworked, and then Draco like takes care of animals, and it's like a very domestic, very sweet one. Far from the Tree. I'm gonna say Far from the Tree from at the end. Way Down We Go was also really good. I think it was funny because it's set in Alabama, but it's not an AU. It's also post-war. It is like Draco's magic's been taken away by the Ministry of Magic after the war, and so he's becoming sick and dying, and the only way that he can like survive is by like having a physical contact with Harry, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. But Far from the Tree rocked my world, dude. Rocked my world. I loved Far from the Tree. Basically, Harry's kids come from the future, and they're there, and Draco and Harry are like in a, lovers to enemies to lovers type thing, and it's so good. The conflict's so good in it. So if I recommend anything, if you read anything, read Far from the Tree. It's so good. Okay. Anyway, we're moving from that fanfiction to my own. Okay. Let's talk about Final Fantasy VIII and where we are for that. So as I said, when we were playing Final Fantasy VIII, we had a vote, an ongoing vote, right? During the entire playthrough, people could vote on who are their favorite characters and who are their favorite ships. And the winner of Final Fantasy VIII's favorite ship was Squall and Irvine. Now, where we are on that is I'm still writing it. In fact, I'm still plotting it. I'm going to be honest. I'm still plotting it. I'm planning on writing it during Thanksgiving week when I am out of town. And so I am spending like all this time kind of plotting, kind of like brainstorming. I said before that I had like a draft done, and that is true. I did have a draft done, but I'm expanding on it. That's why it's taking me so long. This was originally supposed to be just like a one shot, but then I was like, I got this idea, and I was like, I want to like kind of play around with it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that. I don't want to give too much away. I'll say is, it is from Irvine's perspective. I thought that would be more interesting than going from Squall's. It is canon compliant-ish. So it's not in an AU, it's still within the world. And it has, hold on, I have a list. Let me grab it. There's a lot of debates in me right now, right? There's a lot of debates because, like I said, this is the brainstorming period, and I'm like thinking about how I want to structure this. There are like certain moments that I'm like, okay, I want, like right now where it is, there are moments within Final Fantasy VIII story that I'm like, I definitely want that in there. But how am I going to rework that into this romance? You know what I mean? How am I going to rewire this without fucking up the entire story? You know what I mean? So I have to keep referring back to my streams and keep referring back and be like, what happened after that? What happened after this? What happened after that? So that's what I've been doing. I wrote one plot down and I like plotted that one out, but then I was like, but I want to add this element to it. So now I have to do a second plot, second outline. So that's why it's been like taking me a while, because I'm like, it's messy. It's a messy process to write this. But there are certain ideas that I'm like, I really, really want that in, right? And I'll even give you a hint. It has something to do with deja vu, right? And I really want to play around with that idea, and I'm trying to like weave it in and incorporate it in. So that's where it is. That's where that is. So thank you for joining me for HyperFixations. We are moving on to Final Fantasy 1 now, but thank you. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helps me out.